In order to provide you with the software and services, one companion may change some of your system's preferences, such as homepage, new tab page, add toolbars, or change your default search engine. Oh, wait, hold on. In order to provide you with the software and services, one companion may change some of your system preferences, such as homepage, new tab page, add toolbars, or change your default search engine. Please note that such changes may be reverted at any time. We are committed to comply with the downloadable software guidelines, which incorporates ethical standards for such software and services. The software does not collect any personal identifiable information. All third-party applications and all advertisements from the services shall collectively be known as third-party materials. Revert and uninstall. Should you decide to uninstall the software and services, you should follow these uninstall instructions. Go to Start. Click on Control. Go to Start. Click on Control Panel. Click on Uninstall a Program. Right-click on BBWC and choose Uninstall. Grant of Limited License. Subject to the terms of this agreement, Web Companion hereby license you a limited, non-exclusive, non-assignable, non-transferable, revocable, temporary personal license to use the software and or services, any future programming fixes, updates, and upgrades provided to you on your computer. You understand that Web Companion, in its sole discretion, may modify or discontinue or suspend your right to access any of its services or use any of the software at any time, and may at any time suspend or terminate any license hereunder and disable any software you may already have accessed or installed without prior notice. Prohibited uses. You must always use the services lawfully and responsibly. When using the services, you must not do or attempt to do any of the following. Violate any applicable law, code, directive, or regulation following. Collectively, quote-unquote, applicable law, or any third-party rights, including, without limitation, intellectual property rights and right to privacy. Post, transmit, or display any threatening, libellous, defamatory, obscene, indecent, pornographic, graphically violent, profane, inflammatory, or fraudulent content. Impersonate any person or entity. 1A. Transmit any virus and other malicious, destructive, or corrupting code, program, or macro. B. Overload, flood, mail bomb or crash, or send unsolicited email, including, without limitation, promotions and or advertising of products or services. C. Hack into or cause harm to or otherwise interfere with service to any user, host, or network, including without limitation that of Web Companion, or modify, erase, damage, corrupt, steal, or usurp any data without authorization. E. Cause annoyance to other users of the services or interfere with, disrupt, or impede their use of the services or any computer or telecommunications system or network. Remove, modify, or conceal any product identification, copyright propriety, intellectual property notice, or other marks on or within the services. Circumvent, disable, or otherwise interfere or tamper with any access or use restrictions or security features of the services, including without limitation by one. Accessing data not intended for you or logging into a server account which you are not authorized to access. Attempting to probe, scan, or test the vulnerability of a system or network to breach security or authentication methods without proper authorization. Forging any TCP/IP packet header or any part of the header information in any email or news group posting. Obtaining information or account access from or about any user, host, or network via any unauthorized means, including without limitation, impersonation, false representations, phishing or farming, or misrepresentation. Modify, adapt, merge, translate, or create derivative works of the services. Reverse engineer, decompile, decrypt, disassemble, or otherwise attempt to derive the source code of the services or imitate the services, except to the extent that the restriction is prohibited by applicable law or the licensing terms of an applicable open source component included within the services. Sell, rent, lease, loan, or sub-license the services, or otherwise make available the services for any feature or functionality of the services to any third party, or use the services to provide services to others, whether as an application service provider or by way of a service bureau. Cloud service, hosted service, or by any other means, whether commercially or otherwise. You must not permit, direct, or authorize any third party to take any action which is inconsistent with the terms of this agreement. The services are not intended for the use in the operation of nuclear facilities, aircraft navigation, or communication systems, air traffic control systems, life support machines. What the fuck is it? What the fuck? What the hell? Or other equipment in which the failure of the services could lead to death, personal injury, or severe physical or environmental damage. Updates. Web Companion reserves the right to add additional features or functions to the software. When installed on your computer, the software periodically communicates with our servers. You may require the updating of the software on your computer when releasing a new version or when making new features available. This update may transpire automatically or through other means. You understand that we may need your review and acceptance of our then current end user license agreement / terms of service and privacy policy before you will be allowed a limited license for any later versions of the software. You acknowledge and agree that that Web Companion has no obligations to make available to you any subsequent versions of its software applications. The services may update automatically on your device once an update is available. Third-party materials. The services may enable you to use or copy third-party software on your devices. Third-party software may also be delivered to you along with the services. Such third-party software may be subject to the separate license terms of the third-party rights holder. The terms of this agreement do not apply to any third-party software. You are solely responsible for ensuring that you obtain and maintain all necessary third-party software licenses to use or copy such third-party software. When you use the services, you may encounter third-party content which you may find offensive or otherwise objectionable. Web Companion is not responsible for any such content and shall have no liability to you whatsoever in respect of any such content of your use or reliance on such content. The services may also contain links to third-party websites or online resources, goods, or services. Web Companion does not control and is not responsible for such websites or online resources, goods, or services of your use or reliance on them. If you choose to transact with any third party, you are solely responsible for ensuring that you accept and comply with their terms of use and/or privacy policies, including without limitation where applicable, and their privacy, shipping, billing, order cancellation, refund, and/or exchange terms to their terms or policies. Web Companion does not warrant or endorse. Web Companion does not warrant or endorse and takes no responsibility and assumes no liability for any third-party content you encounter when you use the services or any third-party software, websites, online resources, goods and services, or any links thereto as described above. Collectively, third-party materials. All third-party materials are provided solely for your convenience, to the extent of your own use and reliance on such third-party materials, and for your own compliance with applicable law. Disclaimer: your use of the services and third-party materials is at your own risk. Oh God, okay. The services and all third-party materials subscribed by Web Companion are provided as is and as available with all faults and without warranty of any kind. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, Web Companion does not warrant and hereby disclaims any and all warranties and conditions in respect of the services. And equipment deployed by Web Companion or its service providers to enable the use of the services, whether express or implied, or arising by statute, or otherwise in law from a course of dealing or usage trade, including without limitation any and all warranties for conditions of merchantability, satisfactory quality, fitness for a particular purpose, title, quiet enjoyment, accuracy, completeness, correctness, reliability, and non-infringement of the third-party rights. Hold on. Web Companion does not warrant that the services or any third-party materials are free from viruses, and any other malicious, destructive, or corrupting code. Web Companion also does not warrant that the services or any third-party materials are free from viruses and any malicious, destructive, or corrupting codes, program, or macro that any transactions, communications for data, including without limitation, personal data will be secure, free from loss, corruption, theft, or destruction. Unauthorized access or alteration, attack, interference, hacking, or other security intrusion, you hereby release Web Companion from any liability relating to the foregoing. No oral or written information or advice given by Web Companion or its authorized representative will create a warranty. You assume total responsibility for your use of the services and third-party materials. Your sole remedy, if you are dissatisfied with the services, is to stop using the services. Some jurisdictions do not allow the exclusion of implied warranties or limitations on applicable statutory rights of a consumer. So to that extent, the disclaimers and limitations of liability in this agreement may not apply to you. Identity. Fuck! Fucking shit! To the full extent permitted by applicable law, you agree to identify, defend, and hold compensate someone for harm or loss. Identify, defend, and hold harmless Web Companion, its director's officer, from and against any all claims. Identify, defend, and hold harm. Third party. To the extent not prohibited by applicable law, in no event will Web Companion be liable for personal injury or loss of or damage of any kind howsoever caused. In no event, motherfucker. In no event will Web Companion be liable for a personal injury or loss or damage of any kind, howsoever caused. Even if Web Companion had been advised of the possibility of such injury, loss, or damage, including without limitation, direct, indirect, incidental, special, or consequential loss or damage, loss of use, loss or corruption of data, loss of any opportunity to participate in events or win prizes or rewards, loss of any winnings, prizes or rewards, loss of goodwill, or loss of profits, whether in an action of contract, negligence, tort, or any theory of liability arising, whether directly or indirectly from any way connected with fucking hell. The use or inability to use the services or any third-party materials. The unavailability of the services or any third-party materials. The conduct or representations of any other user of the services. Any errors, omissions, obscenities, or infringing, offensive, fraudulent, unlawful, or defamatory information and material made available by the use of the services or any third-party materials. Some jurisdictions do not allow the limitation of liability for personal injury or of direct, indirect, incidental, special, or consequential damages, so that to that extent, this limitation may not apply to you. In no other event will Web Companion's total liability to you for all damages other than as may be incurred by a liberal law firm exceed the amount of 50,000 United States dollars. 50 United States dollars. The foregoing limitations will apply even if the stated remedy fails its essential purpose. Termination. We're free to stop using the services at any time. Web Companion may at any time, for any reason, terminate this agreement immediately without for prior notice and without liability to you. Your license to use the services will automatically terminate immediately without any notice or liability to you in the event that you have breached or Web Companion suspects that you have breached any warranty or other provision of this agreement, or in Web Companion's attempt, your use of the services may expose Web Companion or its licensors to civil or criminal liability in any jurisdiction. Upon the termination of this agreement, your right to use the services under this agreement will immediately terminate. In law of this term terminating this agreement, Web Companion reserves the right to suspend or impose restrictions or limits on your use of the services immediately, without prior notice and without liability to you. You acknowledge, accept, and agree that and agree that Web Companion has the right of remote access to your device in order to disable or anyway configure the services or any of its features and functionalities on your device to give effect to any termination, suspension, or restriction or limit imposed on you on your use of the services under this agreement. The provisions of the agreement, which by their terms require performance or have application after the termination or expiration of the agreement, shall survive the termination or expiration of this agreement. Export control. You must not export or re-export the services except authorized by United States law and the laws of jurisdiction in which the services was obtained. In particular, but without limitation, the services must not be exported or re-exported A. into any U.S. embargoed countries, or B. to anyone on the U.S. Treasury Department's specially designed Nationals List, or the U.S. Department of Commerce Denied Persons List or Entity List. You represent and warrant that you are not located in any such country or any such list. You also agree not to use the service for any purpose prohibited by these laws, including, without limitation, the development, design, manufacture, or production of nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons or missile technology? Force the Web Companion we have no liability for your failure. And you can't, if you cause natural disaster with our thing, you can't do that. And if you're a fucking Web Companion shall have no liability for the failure or delay in the provision of the services or the performance of any obligation under this agreement. Failure or delay is due to cause any unreasonable control, including without limitation, natural disaster, adverse weather condition, accident, epidemic, terrorist activity, natural emergency, war, or other hostilities, political interference with normal operations of any party, industrial disputes, no assignment. All rights and licenses granted to you under this agreement are personal to you and are binding upon your heirs, executors, and legal representatives. You may not assign any such rights and licenses, transfer, or delegate, as the case may be. Legal executor, as the case may be. You may not assign any such rights or licenses without transfer or delegate any obligations imposed by any such rights and licenses, or transfer or delegate any obligations imposed by this agreement without prior written consent. Web Companion may assign or transfer its rights and obligations under this assignment to any other party without your consent at any time, without prior notice. Governing laws. These terms shall be solely governed. These terms shall be solely governed by the laws of the state of California, including their statutes regarding conflict of laws, and may be solely brought to the competent courts of California. You undertake not to initiate any class action for any reason against Web Companion, and to claim your damages only according to this agreement. The application of the United States Convention on the International Sale of Goods is expressly included. Removal instruction. Go to Start, click on Control Panel, click on Uninstall a program, right-click on BBWC, and choose Uninstall. Too long didn't read. I don't take responsibility for anything I possibly could have caused, and if I did cause those problems, you are entitled to jack shit, and you can just go kill yourself. So basically, anyway, I'm getting off track. So yeah, fuck you. I spent an entire half an hour of my life on this, and I honestly, by the way, this is an app called Tiny Task. After seeing that agreement, I don't think I'm going to be installing this macro anytime soon. So yeah, eat my dust.